All right, well, welcome everyone to our first ever YouTube episode of All Things KNT Football. You guys have been asking for this, you guys have been demanding this, and so finally I have decided that we're going to go for this and start this up. And thank you for joining us. And I have along with us on this episode my buddy, my mate, Kevin Kim. His X handle is Tuhan. You can see it over there. He's been with me on a lot of spaces, and he's my good friend. And we also have a special guest with us from Athletic Fanatics, Saint Keeks or Keeks, and he'll be with us to discuss this new signing of Kang-in, which is imminent, going to happen very soon. But on that note, we have some really surprising news developments this morning here, at least morning time in New York City, that we're going to talk about as well. But before we go ahead and we get into the topic of conversation, I just wanted to give Keeks a chance just to introduce yourself for the audience.
Sure. I'm a co-host of Athletic Fanatics. We mostly talk about Atletico and generally speaking, our players. Every now and then we might talk about, national team things. We did some World Cup coverage and these other stuff. But also we talk about Atletico. You'll find the same kind of vibes on my Twitter page and other places. Sometimes I write, sometimes I think, whatever. So yeah, if you want to learn anything about Atletico, me and my friends Alex and Fran, these are the places to go. These are the people to meet. So yeah.
All right, awesome. Great to have Keeks with us. I was just on their episode that they're going to release fairly soon, a week ago, and we had a great time. And he really has a very insightful mind when it comes to football, and we'll be asking him some questions about Kang-in and his fit in Atleti. But the first topic, and it is a blockbuster, is that Korea's number one journal, who I consider the most reputable journal in Korea, Seo Jung, just dropped the bomb this morning, saying that Kang-in, contrary to reports that we're seeing in Spain, he is not in Spain right now. He is still in Korea. He is still in Seoul, and he is training at FC Seoul. And so just so that this isn't any rumors like that, Seo Jung actually said this, we're actually going to watch a video of him actually saying it. And it's in Korean, but you'll understand enough.
지금 한국에 있다.
You'll understand enough that he's talking about Kang-in. So let me just share it really quick. We're going to watch a little moment of this. And we'll proceed with our discussion. All right, here we go. This is Seo Jung. He's about to drop the bomb right here.
Kang-in 지금 한국에 있다.
He's in Korea right now.
안 갔어요? 안 갔어요.
He hasn't left.
지금 한국에 있습니다. 이강인 선수는.
He's in Korea right now.
오늘도
Today,
구리에 위치한 FC 서울 클럽하우스죠.
at FC Seoul,
에서 개인 훈련을 했습니다.
and he's doing personal training.
목격설 같은 거 봤는데 사실이었군요. 네. 내일도 아마 안 나갈
And tomorrow, it looks like he won't leave as well.
본인이 가지 않고 아틀레티코 니들이 나한테 와라.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. So this guy isn't going anywhere. He's in Korea today, and according to Seo Jung, he's probably not going to leave tomorrow either. And I've actually uploaded this video on my X page. It's a pinned post. You can check this out yourself and use an AI translator to translate what he's saying. Really good stuff. 8-9 minutes worth of him sharing about Kang-in's situation that I've summarized on that post. You can check it out. But guys, that is wild. It's been so frustrating. It's been this whole saga. It's been like we're hearing different accounts, different reports, and mind you, I'm new to the Atleti sphere. I don't know which reports are good or whatnot. I mean, it seems like this one guy, Ruben Oria, is pretty good, and he seemed pretty accurate. But but it just seems like not just him, but like other journals too. It's just like we're getting different accounts, different messages, and honestly, for me, I really trust Seo Jung. So if Seo Jung is saying this, then I'd rather honestly trust him over other journals that I'm hearing right now. But yeah, it's been pretty crazy. It's been pretty wild. Kevin, what do you think about this whole shenanigans, this whole thing? And then Keeks, I'll go to you right afterwards.
Yeah, man, it's kind of like how I joked with you before we started. It's another case of Korean football trying to succeed in spite of the Korean football atmosphere rather than due to the support of said Korean football atmosphere. He has military exemption, correct? Confirming this?
Yes.
Joel? Yeah, he does. So basically the prerequisite is just a couple of months of additional military labor, something that Min did after he won the Asian Games gold. So I see it as a non-issue, and for Korea to hold him back from completing this move to Atleti is kind of a kick in the teeth and a bit of a piss take to Korean football supporters. Personally, when it comes to considering Kang-in's fit in Atleti, and Keeks, I want to hear more from you about this. I think it'd be a phenomenal fit. From my understanding is that Griezmann's in Orlando, so you're looking for someone to fill that attacking void. And I think Kang-in more or less fits the bill for that. I mean, I think he's so talented that he could basically fit the bill for that at nearly any club, really, minus the tops. But even then, an argument can be made. But yeah, overall frustration. It's very, very annoying to hear these, here we goes, set to move. But black and white, all things being considered, Mans is stuck in Korea. Nothing has been confirmed to officially cement him as a new transfer to Atleti. And, I'm holding back all my excitement until that official report has been made. But let me hand it off to you, Keeks. We'd love to know what you think when it comes to Kang-in and his potential fit with Atleti once this move is certified.
Before we go to Keeks, I actually forgot to give the reason why he's in Korea. I just got so passionate about saying he's in Korea, then I didn't really give the reason. So, as you alluded to, Kevin, let me just give a brief synopsis. He's in Korea right now because apparently, although he, like Kevin mentioned, he won his military exemption, he still has to serve in certain alternative ways, in addition to taking 1 month of boot camp, which he hasn't even done yet. And so, in addition to 1 month boot camp, he has to serve in some certain cultural ways in Korea. So other Korean national team players, what they would do is they would hold like a soccer camp for Korean kids. Paik Sun-ho did that at Birmingham. Kim Min-jae was serving as a mentor for some teenagers, and Lee Kang-in has yet to do any of that from what I'm hearing from Seo Jung. And because he's been out of the country, out of Korea for such a long time, he has to renew his overseas travel permit from the Military Manpower Association. And so they're just trying to get that worked out. But that's the reason that he can't, at the moment, he's not able to travel outside. And so that's why he's in Korea right now. And it doesn't look like this is going to be resolved anytime soon. It looks like he's going to be in Korea for a little while, to the point that it may seem even pointless for him to go to Spain, actually, when he's going to actually come right back for the tour. And so Seo Jung was mentioning that maybe a possibility that he may not even join the team until Athletic come to Korea, and then he'll join. So that's an interesting bit there.
What a
hopefully,
headache,
hopefully this gets resolved real soon. But there's that possibility that Seo Jung once again mentioned. So this had nothing to do with PSG, which I'm wearing Lee kit today. Nothing to do with PSG at all. This actually had to do with internal country affairs, with his representation and being a citizen of the country. But Seo Jung just wanted to make clear that he is not banned from leaving the country. No, he just has to work these things out so that he can leave in the most expedient and smooth as possible way. And so right now he is training at the Guri Champion Center, which is the training center for FC Seoul, and he has his own trainer as well, as what I'm hearing. So he's putting in his work, but he just can't leave at the moment. And so he is not in Spain. He has not done any pictures or media. Ruben Uria did say that he signed his contract. Maybe he did that through DocuSign online. I don't know. But he did not do that in Spain is all I know. And so that is the situation right now. And so just a clearer context of what we're talking about. Keeks, I'll hand it off to you. Dude, what has it been like for you as an Athletic fan to be put into this whole drama? You're dealing with a Korean player, and with Korean players come this drama with the military thing and everything like that. Like, how's it been for you?
I think it's interesting. I feel like up until there's a lack of clarity when it comes to some of these things. Where it's like, I was under the impression that PSG was kind of just like, they were just not really taking like the proper time with these things, which is I thought was a bit atypical of them. Usually they get their deals done and then they're on their way, right? Like, because they'd like to get whatever, either their sales or their purchases done as quickly as they can before the preseason. So it's a shame to hear that he would be here in Spain, because I think a lot of the groundwork for the team movement, understanding what your position is, because Simeone is a guy who likes to flex a lot of players in terms of position. I don't think there's any outside of maybe Oblak, There are a lot of players who play multiple positions. Pubil, who we bought last year as a right back, ended up being such a good centre back that he was called up for the Spain national team, which he ended up winning with the World Cup and everything. So it's like there are things like this where it's like even Griezmann, who came in initially, was an out and out left winger. Since then, I don't think you even see him on the left wing in Atletico. He's been almost an attacking midfielder. He's a second striker. He's a lot of things. So getting to understand the system, which is an ever moving like constant, is I think kind of important. And it's a bit of a shame that he can't come as quickly as he can, but it's drama and Atleti are like teasing apart. It is what it is. Look, we have like 3 other players that we've had major dramas with. João Felix some years ago, Julian Alvarez right now. This is like, okay, well, it'll get fixed soon. I don't know about the other stuff. I never know what the conclusion with the other stuff. So it's not that bad. It's kind of interesting to learn about like the whole, like what you call it, the international process with Korea. Learning about, you have to do military service, military exemptions, all these other things. It's pretty interesting. I didn't know about this. So in that sense, I get to learn a little bit about the whole process, but it is what it is. We're gonna go to Korea anyway. He's gonna be in the Korea tour, so it'll be fine. Hopefully we will have him really in the system. We're gonna be late in the season anyhow, so this shouldn't be too much of an obstacle, to be honest. We think we're gonna miss the first game of the season, so not too big of a deal. It's fine. A shame because I kind of wanted to see him already, but and to respond to the other stuff, Spain and Spanish sources, Ruben Uria is very credible with a lot of these things. It's just when it comes to if a player is actually in the country or not, just go off of, have you seen any photos of him? Because the Madrid airport is very accessible. There's no way of you getting around that, right? So if you didn't see photos of him, he's not here. Yeah. Real simple. So outside of that, everything else is, as far as I understand it, has been signed. He is an Atletico Madrid player. It's just a matter of registering officially with La Liga. So yeah, great. His position itself, I do imagine that he can be somewhat similar to what Griezmann can be. There's a lot more that he needs to kind of understand in terms of our system, but should be fine. I'll try and, if there's any specifics, I could try and explain in terms of what Griezmann's role is and what Kang-in, I think, can do for this. I'll try and answer that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Before you go any further, exactly, before you start talking about the tactical fit of Kang-in, I do think that's a point worth emphasizing to supporters that, like, I think photos are the king of evidence that someone's really in the country or not. And Korean supporters, Korean people in general, are very good at capturing, celebrities at airports. And so I was very suspicious even of the news that he was in Spain because I didn't see any pictures from the airport being uploaded. And I'm on this stuff like 24/7. I'm just like, I'm like a nut. I'm like a crack nut. I'm just like on this, like scouring for photos and just nothing, absolutely nothing. The only photos that we do see of Kang-in are him training at FC Seoul and just fan photos of other celebrities or players. Like recently he took a picture of with a Korean tennis legend and his daughter, but nothing so far from Madrid. And I would think the people of Madrid also have a fascination on this. And if he came through the airport, I'm sure he would have been captured by social media. There was a Japanese player signed recently by Valencia. And as he was coming through the airport, like Radio Marca, they were on that. They had him, they had him on live camera. And so I was like following Radio Marca to see news of Kang being captured like that. But alas, nothing's been coming out. And so we'll have to wait for footage. And it might not even happen, honestly, this time. I think Atleti is going to be coming to Korea. I think we're going to be getting Atleti in photos and video in Korea before we get Kang-in in Madrid. But with that said, we do want to spend a little time talking about Kang-in and his tactical fit. And so I know, Keeks, you have a lot of things you want to share about him. But I do want to pass the mic to Kevin a little bit real quick. Kevin, is there, on your mind, is there a question that you want to ask Keeks about? Kang-in and his fit in Atletico. Go ahead. I'll let you take it from there.
Totally, man. I mean, first of all, Keeks, you mentioned that Kang-in will be joining the squad late, and there are multiple demands that Simeone has on his players when it comes to fulfilling multiple positional roles. Like, first of all, do you reckon that his late introduction to the Atleti squad is going to inhibit him from being a starter at Atleti? Because personally for me, and I would like to think for a majority of Korean football supporters who back Kang-in, this is his make or break transfer. Like, if he is not a regular at this team, if he is not contributing centrally to Atleti's offensive moves, if he's periphery similar to how he was with PSG, then he is not going to fulfill the potential that we have of him. And personally, for me, Kang-in is the most talented Korean baller, especially in recent history. Like, Sonny is getting all of his flowers, and naturally, he deserves them because he's such a competent goal scorer. But when it comes to all-around game, when it comes to tech, when it comes to his ability on the ball, I don't think that anyone can touch him. And that's why, for me in particular, it's very exciting to hear how he's going to fulfill that role that is no longer there because Griezmann's leaving, right? So, two-pronged question. One, do you feel like his delayed introduction to the Atleti squad is going to inhibit him from being a starter there? And two, like we alluded to before, what sort of role do you expect Kang-in to have at Atleti? And what are your expectations from him coming from the Atleti side rather than from the Korean side?
I don't think the delay inherently will stop him from being a starter or not, because any of his potential players who could supersede his position would be possibly Julian Alvarez, assuming that he will play in that right pocket, which I don't think he will, but Julian Alvarez, Giuliano Simeone, and I think that's kind of it. Like, so his role, there's no one else with his role in the squad, right? Even among the youngsters. So I don't think that's really up into question. Whether or not he will start in terms of the actual preseason games is a different question, but I don't think that really matters or means anything, because
it's preseason. Agreed.
Yeah, it's preseason. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a matter of getting to understand different systems and these other stuff. So that's not an issue to me. I think the better question is where does the Simeone eventually put him in? Because unless you have a predefined role, so we signed Hillman quite recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hillman is a 6. He's a DM. There's no if, buts, or maybe about it. There's no question marks. He is a 6. He'll play as a 6. That is his role. That's where he came in to come and play. And I have no expectations otherwise. He'll probably be rotating with Johnny, but he's a 6.
Yeah.
Kang-in doesn't have competition. I think he could potentially be competition for Juliana if he wants to put him in the right wing role, but I don't think Simeone wants to do that either. So that's my personal beliefs. On top of that, we are not sticking to what we do. We never really stick to one formation, but we're doing 4-4-2, we're doing 4-3-3, we're doing other formations like a 3-5-2, etc. So don't be surprised to see him in a lot of different lineups and a lot of different ideas of where he should start. But ultimately, it's up to his performances. Mm-hmm. Simeone is meritocratic for the most part, and his biases don't really show unless you are if you're playing insane, he's not going to just drop you. He'll just play you. So great. It's up to him at the end of the day. I'm excited, especially because I think knowing that he's coming in for the Griezmann role, knowing that that's such a huge piece for our team and has been for many years, I expect him to take that next step in evolution. We wanted him in 2022 for the exact same reason.
That's right.
We knew he was an attacking midfielder in Mallorca, but we wanted him here for that exact same reason. So I'm happy that he's here. I'm happy that he made that evolution. That last year in PSG that I've kind of been trying to keep in touch with him. Mm-hmm. It's been really, really good. I think the fact that they don't use him as a winger is something I like a lot. Even though he is in the wing position, he is the start of our counter-attack. He is the link-up. He is and to me, that screams, yeah, you could be useful here.
Okay.
So
How many other
That's the-
playmakers do you have at Atleti that could sort of share that creativity responsibility with Kang-in?
There's Baena and
Yeah,
technically Lookman, maybe Julian Alvarez, but again, we don't know what's happening with Julian Alvarez. I'm not gonna say anything out of pocket here, and then 2 weeks later he's here,
yeah,
he's somewhere else. So I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Lookman's not really an alternate creator, but he can
Right.
be. Baena is, but Baena doesn't like to be on the right hand side, right?
Interesting.
So it's just a matter of where and what you want to do. Baena likes to be in the pocket. Kang-in can be in the pocket and outside the pocket too. I know I've seen him like drop very deep to get the ball, move the play on these other things. Him having a direct connection with Baena means, well, ideally anyway, means that both of them can play with each other in the same way that Griezmann used to play with a lot of other attacking midfielders in the same, like he did with Lamar or Miro or these other players. And so ideally that means that can form a connection, which is one player's in the pocket, the other player's outside of it. And potentially they could rotate.
Mhm.
So if they have an understanding with each other, which is why I kind of wanted them to be earlier on, but Bayern is not going to be here anytime soon because he just won the World Cup. So
Right.
We'll see. I hope that, to me, that is the most important connection that could potentially happen, which is Bayern and Kang-in.
Mhm.
I hope they get along because them working together, and as well as Barrios. Barrios is somebody who will find you wherever you are. Ask for the ball, he'll find it. He'll find you. So work with him, work with Bayern. Those are the key parts to creativity in Atletico. And he gives us another asset so that now we don't have to solely rely on certain players. He's a new promotion. His dribbling, his ability to find other players with really good crosses, all these other things. That's what I want out of Kang-in, what I've seen. I think he can provide for us.
It's perfect then. It sounds like you're looking for a player that fits the exact mold that you're looking for, really, because
Exactly, yeah.
Kang-in's heavily technical with it. He's able to find you on the final ball, or he can even drop in between the midfield defense line like Korea demanded him to during this embarrassing ass World Cup for us. But yeah, I mean, if your midfield is fluid like that, but Kang-in still has the role of just like doing his thing on the ball, this is very reassuring to hear. And I've got a little bit of a stick up my backside here when it comes to Atleti, because I know that when you guys were looking at him 2-3 years ago prior to his move to PSG, Atleti lowballed Mallorca, which is why the move didn't go through. So seeing Atleti come back to him after that episode, it's like, okay, you guys clearly want him. So
that was an awful summer. We had only 3 targets to go after, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we had Kang-in as number 1. That was our main guy. This is a Griezmann heir. We had Griezmann in the squad too. This is the perfect time to teach somebody this exact role, right? The next signing was Arnau Martinez. He's a substitute right back, so we can give Molina less minutes. He had a great year before. This is the time, so Molina doesn't have to play all the time. And the last one was going to be a left back. It's between Galan, Grimaldo, and Guerrero. Guerrero went to Bayern. Grimaldo went to Leverkusen. We ended up with Galan for like 3 billion and one of our academy kids. I cannot stress to you how annoying it was to go to work, come back home, and see that the Kang-in deal failed. The Grimaldo and Guerrero deal failed, and then the Arnau Martinez deal failed, and I'm just like, there's no way you did this to me. 3 things. I only need 3 things, and you're lowballing Mallorca. They don't even ask for a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Why do you think that was? Stupid deal. I don't understand why Atleti lowballed.
Real broke. It was COVID. It was like 2 years after COVID. We just didn't have money. And we spent a lot of money on De Paul and then Cunha the year prior.
Yeah.
So we just didn't really have money to spend like that. That was it.
Got it.
We were broke. We were lowballing. Stupid. Very stupid. You just, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
With everything that we're talking about and Kang-in's fit, and I know we talked about this, Keeks, a little bit when I was on your show, on your guys' show, but with Julian Alvarez You have the president coming out and saying, like, we're not selling him, whether it's 100, 150, 200 million, we're not selling him. But then you have all these other sources that are like, oh, no, he could be pried away. And from what I've seen on the internet, there doesn't seem to be any sort of remorse or indication on Alvarez's part of like, okay, you know what, I'm still with Atletico and I'm part of this, and
he's moving the spot right now. He's making it hot for everyone. He's like, oh, you're not letting me go to Barca? Like, forget about it. I'm not showing up.
Yeah, exactly. He's saying stuff like he's not going to show up for training camp. And so, Keeks, what do you think? Like, is the president going to eventually sell him, or is a president of Atleti someone who's like very solid on his word? If he says like you're not being sold, you're not being sold, or is it just kind of hot wind and bluster?
We've never been in this position before, right? Every other time that we have a key player or a star player, usually we tell them we're not selling. If you want him, hit the release clause, and they usually just hit the release clause, right?
Does he have a release clause, Alvarez?
He does. It's for 500. It's for 500 million.
It's 500 million?
Yeah. So you can see the point, right? Like last time with Griezmann, one of our biggest players ever, he's making over 10 million net per year for us. We broke our whole salary structure for him because he was that important to us. And Barca hit the 120 million release clause. That was it. He's just gone. Same thing with Rodri, same thing with Lucas Hernandez. These are not players we wanted to part ways with. But now we're in a position where it's like, look, every other time we've said we're not selling, you either you hit release clause or not. He's on a high enough salary that this release clause makes sense. And we've put enough money into him and we know his market value, etc. Do I think we're going to sell? Personally, we're not selling for Barca. Of that I'm certain. Of that I am certain. But in terms of if we're selling him or not, that depends. We are normally, if a player wants to leave, we'll accommodate, right? Like we don't usually hold players back. But we're in a position where we really don't need to sell you. And there has never been any indication outside of his agent saying that you won't train and these other things. If he does that, then all right, cool. Find a club. Anything but Barca. Find a club. Oh, well, and Real Madrid, obviously, but find a club. So I don't see it happening personally because even though I think a lot of this transfer window has seen some insane prices right so far. I think the current highest is Rodgers to Chelsea for like 135 million euros.
Madness.
Insane. Good player. Way too much money. But
Chelsea DNA, that's what they do.
But if you find a club that makes sense for you, sure, why not? If I was to replace Alvarez, it would be for Victor Osimhen. That's my personal take. But I just don't see it. I don't see it happening right now. If things change, sure. But sporting wise, it's for the best to keep Alvarez. He doesn't really have a whole lot of teams that will fit him perfectly, and it doesn't really have a whole lot of teams that will accommodate to him. Because the whole team is literally built around Julian Alvarez getting as much as he can. So I don't know why you would want to leave that outside of the agent wanting commission fees.
How about Sorloth? Do you think that he'd be able to stick in for Alvarez just fine, or would you still be looking for a proper replacement?
Sorloth is gonna leave.
Dang.
It's not even like I hate him or anything, although I'm not his biggest fan, but he's probably gonna leave. That was determined before the World Cup. There was kind of hopes that he would probably be sold before the World Cup as well. And then maybe after the World Cup, maybe he has a good tournament and maybe his price goes up. I don't feel that way anymore, but he's still leaving. I think that's clear. We're looking for a substitute, somebody to replace his position in the room. So.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So if you're I don't want to say you're like scant up top, but assuming worst case scenario, which is Julian Alvarez leaving, you have Kang-in trying to help fill that void offensively, and especially if Sorloth is underwhelming and you expect him to go too. What is your expectation for Atleti this upcoming season? I know you guys are regular Champions League appearance makers. I know you guys are there in the Champions League. This might be Simeone's last year. Maybe that's something we can go more in detail about. But What is your expectation going into the upcoming year in La Liga and Champions League?
You see, before this Julian Alvarez drama, it really was as simple as just um, winning a trophy. Uh, we've got players who are more consistent now. We've got players who, like, Grimaldo is a league player. He's fantastic in a league. He gives you a lot of chances. He gives you a lot of differences. His set piece decision making is great. Gilman is somebody who's consistent home and away, and we've had problems in away form, right? Especially because we've had injuries in key areas. Either centre back goes out, and all of a sudden we have to play Clement Longley in a must-win game, or Barrios is out, and then we just don't have a replacement for Barrios. That is not the case anymore, right? So in that sense, I'm happy. It means we can reasonably say, La Liga, we have something for you, right? We just have to hope that Barcelona and Real Madrid don't hit the exact form that they need to. The Champions League final is going to be hosted in the Metropolitano. I want it. That's what I want. I don't know if it will happen, but if there's a time, if there's a script, or any of these things, this, to me, it makes sense.
I like that. So, I like that.
I just hope that a lot of these signings that we get are like a plug and play. They come in for whatever fee, whatever, and they immediately make sense for the team. They immediately make the team a lot better, and everything just works out fine. That's what I'm hoping.
Copy. So, yeah. I mean, I look at Atleti's squad composition, and if you have that new signing Hillman and Cardozo, for me, if they play in the middle and that frees up Kang-in, be it a 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1, if that frees up Kang-in from any defensive responsibilities, you have a gem of a player. Like, when he was in Mallorca, he built his I guess defensive robustness, that's too vague of a word, like more defensive output. You know, that was instilled into him by Aguirre, and it was because of that development. Yeah, great coach, right? And that's why you saw the banter between Kang-in and Aguirre when it was Korea versus Mexico, because Aguirre really, really developed him in that way, to the point where Bentu in 2022 opted to pick him, which in retrospect seems mad. Like, you would expect him to be a shoo-in, but Bentu was more the conservative type, and he already had his players in mind. But Aguirre gave Kang-in that little lift, which allowed him to come to 2022, which is why we had that Ghana drama, because he was the one that put in those assists to Q Song, and the rest is history, right? But when I think about Atleti's composition, when I especially think about your point of Hillman coming in, shoring up defensively in the midfield line, I'm really, really excited now to see Kang-in get going at Atleti, because he will have a lot to offer you guys.
Yeah, that's the idea. Like, look, everybody, I think people worry too much when they say forwards have to contribute defensively. When you look at Luis Enrique's PSG, right? Kvaratskhelia has been much better defensively since he joined. Dembele, same thing. Doué, same thing. Because you see Doué at Rennes, you see Kvaratskhelia in Napoli, you see Dembele in Barca. They didn't really do much going backwards. They do a lot now. And when you have a player like, for instance, as we say, Greg Kang-in, if you contribute defensively, it means that you can now be more in tune with the system. Part of the reason why Solot has been such an issue is not that he doesn't score goals, because he scores minimum about 20 per season, which is a lot for a striker who is not guaranteed to start. The difference, though, is he is not usually contributing in the other parts of the team, so it feels like he's isolated from the rest of the team. Kang-in and his ability to really get stuck in the Mallorca days is part of why I've just enjoyed watching Mallorca during that season. It was just him alongside a few other players. It's been so long, so I forgot some of the names. Obviously, it's Marici, but the ability to just be where you need to be, forcing players to have certain errors, winning as many duels as you can, not just through dribbling, but through sheer force of will at times, was part of why I was just like, man, this guy is amazing. Like, genuinely amazing. So even though I think it would be nice to have less defensive responsibilities, because we do have better defensive players, and we do have, I think, an idea to be a little more dominant throughout our football, especially after this last season, I would like less goals. We conceded way too many goals last season. Oh my God. So more
Okay.
goals, yes, less goals conceded at the same time.
Copy.
That's my whole thing.
And then, sorry, just a quick follow up question that I have. I watched Simeone's Atleti closely once he started. I was like chuffed that y'all won La Liga with him way back when, almost 10 years ago now. But
Mhm.
I kind of dropped the ball after Atleti lost that second Champions League final against Real Madrid. I got too much PTSD because I'm a United supporter and I saw Barca do it to us twice over. So I was like, yo, enough of this, right? So admittedly, I'm a bit lacking on the details, but do you reckon that Simeone's ball has evolved significantly now in the what I'm assuming is later stages of his Atleti managerial career versus how he initially started? Like, what do you consider to be a key difference now that Simeone is in his 10th year with Atleti versus his first couple at Atleti?
That's a good question.
That's a
There's a
really
lot of ways to answer that, but it's a good question. It's a good question.
Cool.
Because at his core, Simeone hasn't changed, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But in terms of the ways that it makes sense, it's similar to we call it like you've watched Pep City in Premier League, for instance, right? Every year is not just about he's doing a different formation. It's a different interpretation of his philosophy.
Yeah.
The treble winning season, I think their main formation was the 3-4-3. Was it?
I
Or
I
is it
think
3-2? No, is it three
I
two
want
four
to.
one 4-2, right?
Yeah, I think it's 4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1.
So they did a box midfield with John Stones as a DM, right? Alongside Rodri and you had what do you call it? What's his name? Grealish on the left hand side.
Mm-hmm.
You had
Bernardo
the reason for
Silva.
a lot of that was Pep seeing the Zerbi's formation and saying, I can do this better. And literally did do it better because he found all of the principles of it and changed it towards his style and got a treble out of it. So, and each successive season is a different interpretation of Pep in a different way. And it's the same thing with Simeone, even though I think the core principles are the same. We want to be able to defend, we want to be able to do certain things. That is not necessarily always the case. We do want to show you that we're better than you, because a lot of times we are. Um, and I think people get tied up with the idea of just because we defend, that's all we have to do. If you look at the Arsenal versus PSG final, right? Arsenal defended really well for a long part of that game. But the main thing that I think a lot of people take away is why did they defend for so long? They could have taken the game to PSG once or twice, at least maybe got a second goal and killed off the game. That's the difference, I think, in terms of maybe a Simeone versus an Arteta. Simeone loves defending, but if you give me a chance, right, and in 3 passes, maybe 3 to 6 passes, we're going to score on you, which is what we did in the quarterfinal versus Barcelona. 2-0 down at home versus Barcelona. And from 6 passes in our back line, all of a sudden, we have a goal against Barcelona like that. So that's how it works. That's how we've always been in. And that to do something like that requires a lot of trust in players and also a lot of trust between players. So that's why I really was a little concerned with him not coming. But again, 1 week is not that big of a deal.
Copy.
So yeah.
Good, man.
Yeah, one thing that I'm really excited about to see is that, as we just mentioned, it seems like Simeone's philosophy has, somewhat adapted or somewhat shifted a little bit from being that really defensive team to now being a bit more offensive, and I think that's where we'll see Kang-in really shine, with his passes, into the final third and things like that. And I think in general, it just makes more exciting football. And so, Keeks, would you say that that's been a key determinant in how this season went and how even just making it to the semifinals, this sort of adaptation in football philosophy to be a bit more aggressive, to be a bit more front-footed than he was in the past?
I would agree. I think this is what Chulismo 2.0 or Chulismo. We're almost getting to the finishing parts where we're getting nicer looking football. We're getting we call it different principles, but in doing so, we're also sacrificing something else at the same time, which is not ideal. At the very best, when we were at our very best,
Yeah.
we did not have anything to sacrifice. It was just, this is a very, very good team. When you look at that mid 2010s kind of era where it's Bayern, it's Atleti, it's Real Madrid, it's Barca, Juventus, maybe one other team from Premier League. That is the best teams in Europe, and they're always going to be in the semifinals or finals. That was what that era was, and I want to get back to that, and I think we're in a position where we can. I don't know what happens with Simeone at the end of the season.
That's what I was going to ask, yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It's up to him. Maybe he sees himself through the years. He's openly said before that he would love to coach Inter Milan, and he sees himself coaching Inter Milan in the future. I just don't know when that is. So yeah,
How long has he been at Atletico now? For a very long time now, hasn't he?
It's like 10 years?
14 years, bro.
That is insane.
It's a long, like 2012 around, like late 2012 to now.
It's
a long time.
It's like Deschamps with France. Like he's been around at Atletico.
Or Alex Ferguson, United. It's just years.
Wow.
Years.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You know, for me, I'm super excited for Kang-in, just the fact that he's moving from one world-class club in PSG, playing under Enrique, playing with, unbelievable talent, and he's moving to another world-class club, learning from another brilliant football mind in Simeone, and I think I speak for all Korean fans in the sense that, like, he's not done growing. He's just stepping into his prime. He's 25. There's still room for growth, and so Keeks, in your perspective as a Colchonero, familiar with Colchonero football, what kind of things do you feel like Kang-in's going to be taking away from Atletico? What kind of skills and values do you feel like he'll be adding to his arsenal, playing as a Colchonero here?
Ideally, to link up better. I think people don't mention it enough, but to transition well is to know where you move, where everybody else moves, and to also execute it very well, consistently as well. So we do a lot of counterattacks, obviously, but we will also have to use him specifically to break down these low blocks. Those are two things that he will have to be able to do exceptionally well from this point going forward. Not that he doesn't do it already, but I think that will be an improvement. And then on top of that, this is especially important, I think, for international football. So I'm hoping to see it in the Asian Cup in January, is knowing when to stay forward and knowing when to drop back and help out your team. Because sometimes it's very important for you to be there and be a part of that build up and do these things for your team. And other times, I don't need you here. I need you to be the outlet. Make sure that they're afraid of what's happening if I get this ball back. And that can usually waste another 5-10 minutes from an opposition team's possession. So for a star player, you want somebody who can be able to know when to do what at the right time all the time. And that's what I want from Kang-in, especially for what I think should be a pivotal role for him, and then also on top of that for Korea going forward. So I know Sonny is on his last part of his career. He's in the twilight years. I know he just scored the other day. I think yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, last two games.
Him and Griezmann scored in the same day. I was watching the MLS on the day, so I was having a nice time. So it does mean that once Son leaves, you have to now fill that void, and I'm hoping that he can step up in that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, dude, if you're looking for that possessional sense via team chemistry, look elsewhere than Korea right now, bro. We are a flaming hot mess right now. And like Hong Myung-bo is giving Kang-in that free role just because he's head and shoulders technically competent above all. But no, that discipline and that sense of knowing when to drop and knowing when to be the outlet ball, like he's going to develop a lot more of that sense with Atleti. And like from a broader perspective, I think that this move to Atleti really suits Kang-in currently because, like everyone knows, he was a very, very periphery figure for the best team in Europe over the last 3 years. But like now, I almost want Atleti to run him into the ground, man. I want to see him play like 90 minutes, twice a week if Champions League and La Liga is playing, because he's got that energy in him still. Since he was not a regular at Mallorca, he's not a regular at PSG. Now is the time for him to be a regular. And if Atleti is at the cusp from being like elite to world class, that's the same sort of path that Kang-in is on. Everyone's aware of his talents. Everyone who watches football knows that he's a special footballer. But from a Korean football supporter perspective, he just hasn't had the minutes required for him to cement his space or cement his name as one of the world's best. And I really do think that he can be one of the world's best. So
That's the ideal. But I guess I can flip this on you. What are your expectations in terms of Kang-in? Like not just like right now, but in terms of the future, in terms of what do you think he can provide for Korea?
Mate, he is our future. He's 25. He's got not only with his technical savviness and his capabilities, but his personality, man. Like, funnily enough, I was speaking with Julian Klinsmann last winter when he was just fired after the Asian Cup, and one of the first things that Kang-in told him was, "The coach, I'm not Korean, I'm Spanish." You know, like he's joking like that, and he's got that type of banter. And he got a yellow card for running his mouth against Mexico's first 5 minutes into the game. You know, like I do not expect him to have any sort of he doesn't need any time to adapt to Spanish culture. You know what I mean? He's a Valencia youth product. He played in Valencia before Mallorca. You know, he grew up. He's used to it. Like all the chinito talks and all the sort of like microaggressions that non-Spanish folks may deal with playing in La Liga, like he's above all that now. So what do I see his role developing into from a Korean football perspective? I want him to bring all that sort of multicultural experience that he has with him. I want him to be more than just that stereotypical, like, you know, we'll do our best, you know, we have good attitude. No, I want a player that has a lot of bite to him. I want a player that's able to snap back. I want a player who's able to grab the game by the scruff of his neck and just drive, you know, like Sonny tries that, but he's too kind. He's still very, very, he's just like, he don't get me wrong. Sonny is a Korean footballing legend and he has done so much for Korean football, but Kang-in just has more steel and more bite to him that I hope translates beyond just his club careers and, you know, really drives Korean football in that more quote unquote multicultural way than the quintessential Korean way, if that makes sense. And I think Atletico is a perfect place for him to develop that.
I do wish, what do you call it? I do wish a lot more East Asians were in we call it Spain. I think Spain it's really hard for Spain, especially. I know there's a lot in Bundesliga. We've seen a few in the Premier League and France as well. But when it comes to, and in terms of the top 5 leagues, Spain is the hardest probably to get into.
Yeah.
Because of their status in terms of the non-EU status.
Yes.
Each team is allowed 3 non-EU players, and Korea, correct me if I'm wrong, you don't allow dual citizenships, do you?
Correct.
So that means if I have a player from either Japan, Korea, China, any of these places, I can't commit to you because you have to be that good.
Yes.
Or I'm just kind of hoping and praying on this. So Valencia have Sato, right? But they also regularly shop in Brazilian and Uruguayan markets.
Right.
So does this mean it means that you even though he's doing well in his preseason so far, it means that he has to hit the ground running, because if it doesn't work, I have another young Brazilian who wants to take your spot. In the same way that Atleti has like 1,000,001 Argentines who I hope will leave sooner rather than later. But we have Uruguayans who go through our club. We have Brazilians who go through our club. And the same is the case for more recently African players coming into La Liga in general. So even though the Cotonou agreement works, it can't be the same for the North African team. So if you're a really good player from Egypt, Egypt just had a really good World Cup, there's a lot of really good players there, there's a lot of really young players there. That's a possibility. And you're eating from everybody else's like plate at the same time. So it's hard, but I hope that it does change in the future. I hope that we'll find some kind of agreement and allow for a lot more development there. because I think La Liga suits a lot of what I see from Koreans in terms of very nice technical base, the understanding of where to be, a little slower pace than the Premier League,
Absolutely.
but tactically well founded, good defensive. I want to see more players like that in the league. It's just a shame that it's harder to do. So
Hey, I mean, when it comes to Kang-in, bro, put on all the pressure. Make sure he feels the players nipping at his heels, man. I want him to be top, 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 and for that to happen, he needs all the pressure, needs all that. I don't want anyone to cater to Kang-in. I want him to take Atleti by the scruff of his neck and make it his team. You know, that's the sort of expectation that I have for him.
I just really like the point Kevin brought up with Kang-in saying, "I'm not Korean, I'm Spanish," and you could see that when he was going into Mexico, he was jawing with who's that Mexican midfielder? Anyway, he was drawing with that Mexican midfielder in Spanish, and you wouldn't normally see a Korean do that. A Korean would just kind of brush it off, walk away, but he wants to smoke, he wants to fire, and hopefully he's bringing that passion, that aggression, and that dynamic energy to Atleti. He's making a homecoming to La Liga, and hopefully we'll see Kang-in really unleashed for who can truly be by this coach that's wanted him for so long and playing for this team. And hopefully Atleti can make some noise this season and, win the league or finish in the top two. And it won't just be, Real Madrid or Barcelona. Hopefully Atleti can really make that jump. And I just feel like it's a good season. It's a good time for Atletico as well, because now it's becoming more a global brand with the Korean fan base jumping on, the Asian fan base, and so I know you guys are excited, but we're just super excited as well to jump on with y'all and to contend, in the highest level of competition here in La Liga and in the Champions League. And so we're going to wrap up pretty soon, but I just wanted to give you guys a final thought to share. Keeks, actually, Kevin, we'll start with you, and then Keeks, we'll let you have the final word. And then, and if you guys can also just share where we can find you, any handles, any information for our audience and viewers, that would be great. So, Kevin, what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, no, man. I mean, it's almost like I said all my final thoughts just prior when I was speaking. Like I have expectations for Kang-in. I know that he has a unique attitude that will thrive in Spain. It's a homecoming, like you mentioned, Joel. So, I'm really looking forward to that. Keeks, bro, you've really made me excited because it seems more clear than ever now that Atleti are looking for a type of player to invigorate them offensively. And considering what you're looking for, I think Kang-in fits the bill swimmingly. If you consider that mishap move or was to be moved 2-3 years ago prior to his move to PSG, it's very obvious that Atleti want him for the individual that he is and the player that he is. So, I mean, it's all systems are go, man. This ain't like Hwang Hee-chan at Wolves, where it's like a will he, won't he, and it's like respectfully, a bit of a bummy club. Atleti are proven. Atleti have been proven, especially with Simeone. Champions League final in Metropolitano, come on, I want to see that. And if you guys are gonna lift La Liga or Copa del Rey, if our boy Kang-in is there, I'm here for that. I know you guys have history as well with top talents, Agüero, Forlan, Falcao, maybe Diego, back when Simeone started. Diego Costa, of course. And then I think the midfielder from Wolfsburg, the Brazilian one, Diego or Diogo. This is from like 14 years back.
Oh, Diego.
Yeah,
the Brazilian.
Bro. Yeah, the Brazilian, man.
With the insane goals. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. So like, I think about the profile of offensive players, typically it's strikers, but I know you guys also had top midfielders as well. So there's a lot here that's worth being excited about. And considering y'all's recent history, like the only way is ideally up for both Atleti and Kang-in. So I'll leave it at that. Oh, and then you can find my stuff. I'm on X Tuhan. Handle is right here, 040. Hopefully I'll be uploading more media stuff as well, but life's currently getting in the way, just like everyone else. And now I'll leave it at that.
Thanks so much for sharing, Kevin. Keeks, how about you, man? What are your final thoughts as an Atleti fan?
I hope everything looks like it looks in my head. I hope look, sometimes I get really excited for a deal and it doesn't work exactly how it looks, but it usually works out, right? I I got super excited for Puville. He won a World Cup. So if it could end up as that good, then I'm here for it. You know what I mean? If he I'm saying this, if he gets us a Champions League in the same season he comes, he's immortalized. He is that guy. That's it. We'll see. Even better, we call it. He'll be, I think, the only player since Eto probably who moved to clubs and won a Champions League back to back. So that would be insane. But let me
Yeah,
not put
that's a
too
good
much
one.
expectation. But it's more so. I just I viewed him as one of the perfect fits for Atleti for a long time in terms of that exact role. So I hope it happens. I hope that everything works out, and I hope that he can really take that step up to be the player that I think he can be. And I think goals are a representation of where and what positioning that you try to do, and I think he'll be in that position to do more for Atleti in a way that he probably couldn't have done in the same way for PSG. So
It's awesome.
Pop,
Yeah.
pop.
oh, and you can find me in either Atleti Fanatics on YouTube. You can also with Alex and Fran. It's my name is at Saint Keeks1 on Twitter. You can find me there. I don't upload too much on other places, but that might change soon. We'll see. Anyway, yeah.
Nice one.
Awesome. Well, Keeks, thank you so much for taking your time and joining us today on our inaugural episode at All Things KNT Football. And thank you everyone for tuning in. If you like this episode, smash the like button and follow. We look forward to uploading more media. And once again, you guys can find Athletic Fanatics on YouTube. We'll be linked with them, and as well as on X. And so great times today. We will see how everything pans out with Kang-in and the saga with his transfer. We are waiting his announcement very soon, next few days. And we look forward to good times with Atleti and the Korean fan base coming together. So that's all we have for today. Until next time, guys.